So everything's a little off. Nothing's going like how it's supposed to. It's life. So I graduate tomorrow. I just got a job on Monday. And I haven't really had the money because I haven't had a job since before I started extern to actually go out and do this. And I've been trying to, like the close ones to my house, but some of them are further even though they're in town. Gas is like $5 a gallon. So I'm not for that. So hopefully everything's going to start going more smoothly now that I got a job. I can start going and doing all these that I want to because I eventually want to start working my way out. I got a couple lined up that I do want to do. I'm going to do Camp Grant and this other story about a little girl that died like right by Camp Grant, like in the intersection. So I'm going to do like a twofer, a twofer video. There's going to be two different stories, but they're literally in the same vicinity. So when I go get my footage, I'll just put it all together. Just makes more sense to do that instead of doing two different videos that are right by each other. Makes no sense. So anyways, today's video, I was like, I should do my own ghost stories. Like my stories. Stuff that happened to me. Not hearsay, not somebody else's stories, my stories. What made me want to know more about the paranormal? So, here we are. So, let's go way back. My grandparents had bought a piece of property here in town. I shouldn't even say property. They bought an apartment complex here in Rockford, right by downtown Rockford, right next to railroad tracks. And eventually they had bought the one next door. When they bought the one next door, they moved next door. My parents moved in upstairs, and there was some lady living downstairs. This happened when I was like 6 years old. So my grandparents lived next door. We lived upstairs in this apartment, and we had one of them big old box TVs. This is back in the 80s. And I remember, like, I was watching something on TV, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go find my mom. I know she's at my grandma's house. So I turn the TV off. I walk out of the living room and into the dining room, and I stopped. I stopped because I seen, like, a smoky kid standing in front of me. And I remember just looking at it, and I was like, who are you? And it didn't say nothing. And I got scared, and I ran around it, and then ran out of the apartment and ran over to my grandparents' house. And I was all scared. My mom didn't know what was going on. I didn't tell her because I was like, she's not going to believe me. She's going to think I'm bullshitting her. So that was my original ghost story. Let's fast forward, because I didn't hear or see anything else until I got married. So I got married at 18. I had moved in. My grandparents are like the Monopoly people. They bought the apartment building next door to the other two. So when I got married, me and my ex-husband moved into the new apartment building that they had bought. We moved in downstairs. So we had full access to the whole basement. The basement was cool. It had a half bathroom down there and a secret room that you couldn't find unless you knew where it was. So, being dumb, being 18, my was then husband, but now it's my ex-husband, my best friend, and my friend Billy were all in the living room, and we're like, man, what are we gonna do? Well, earlier that day, me and my ex-husband had went to Toys R Us, and I still find this funny as hell. And we're walking around, we're looking, and I'm like, let's get this Ouija board. Let's get it. He was like, okay. So we buy this Ouija board from Toys R Us. And we take it home. So later that night, we're sitting there. It's me, Brandon's my ex-husband, Misty, she's my best friend at the time, and my friend Billy. And we're all sitting in the living room. And I'm like, dude, let's play this Ouija board. Come on, let's do it. Before that, we hadn't seen nothing, heard nothing. Nothing was out of the ordinary. So I go grab the Ouija board. I put it on the coffee table. We light some candles. We turn off all the lights. We're sitting there fucking around with it, asking stupid ass questions, because what else do you do when you're 18 and you're dumb? So after nothing happened, the pichet, that's what it's called, right? Pichet, whatever, the little thing, didn't move. We were like, okay, whatever. Blew out the candles. TV, we turned the TV on. That was it. That was the only light on in like the whole house. So Billy actually lived with me at the time, and he lived downstairs. His bedroom was in the basement. That's fine. Remember, there's a half bathroom down there. So he goes downstairs. He comes back, like right back upstairs, and he's like white as fuck. And I know he's a white guy, but I mean, like, he was white as a ghost. I'm like, what's going on, dude? He's like, you're not gonna fucking believe me. And I'm like, well, what do you mean I'm not gonna believe you? He's like, you're not gonna fucking believe me. I'm like, what? He's like, the basement's flooded. I'm like, no, it's not. He's like, yeah, it is. So I go downstairs. No shit. The whole front room of the basement, like the whole first room in the basement, which was like the laundry room, was full of water, like about an inch thick, right? All the way across. So we're like trying to figure out like how the fuck it got flooded, because we weren't doing no laundry. There was no water running. It wasn't raining outside or anything. So like, what the fuck? Still don't know how the water got there. Yeah, there's a half bathroom, but it's behind Billy's room. So it would have had to gone through his room, which his room was not wet. This is even more fucking crazy. I called my dad, and I'm like, Dad, the basement's flooded. I don't know what to do. And he's like, okay. He's like, I'm going to come over. He tried to snake it out. Couldn't get anything out of there. They call Roto-Rooter. Roto-Rooter comes out like the next day. The first room's still flooded. And Roto-Rooter comes out, and he brings out all his tools and everything, and he's sitting there doing his thing. And about a half hour later, he comes upstairs, and he's like, this is really weird. He's like, I've never seen this before. He's like, the only thing I found in the drain was this little tiny super ball, like a bouncy ball, little super bouncy ball. He's like, and it's smaller than the drain, so it's not like it clogged it so that water couldn't get down around it. And I'm like, okay. So I was like, that's really fucking weird. And he leaves, and we go about our way. And of course the water went down or whatever. He got the water to go down. That was the point of that. Okay. So we're still living in this apartment, and the weirdest shit started happening afterwards. Painted the whole kitchen white, and I had bought some stencils, and I did like this ivy stencil all around the top of the kitchen and around the cabinets, and it looked really nice. Every morning that I woke up after that, there would be these little reddish brown splotches all over the kitchen. Not the floor. All over the cabinets, all over the ceiling, all over the walls. And it looked like somebody dipped their fingers in some blood and went like this all over the kitchen. Okay? I'm like, that's fucking weird. What is, like, there was nothing on the walls before I painted, so it's not like it seeped through. So I was like, whatever. Didn't think too much of it. Cleaned it all up. Went about my day. Next morning, what do you think happened? Yep, shit's back again. All over the fucking kitchen, like I didn't wipe nothing down. I'm like, okay, cool. So I used bleach water. Cleaned up all the little spots. This proceeded to happen the rest of the time that I lived there. No matter what I used, no matter if I cleaned it or not, even if I didn't clean it, it didn't get worse. It just was there. It was always there. So I'm like, whatever. I'm done. You win. I'm done. Billy moved out. My friend Misty moved in. Her and her boyfriend Clarence were living in my basement. In Billy's old room. And one night, Clarence was working. Misty was upstairs in the living room watching TV. I'm in bed sleeping. And she said that she was just sitting there watching TV, and all of a sudden she seen like this little blue ball, about yay big, bounce off the floor, hit the wall, bounce off the wall, and go up into the ceiling and disappeared. Okay. That one is not my story, but it leads into this next point. So, remember the super ball and the drain in the basement? The little blue ball. The only thing that didn't add up was the little splotches. All the little splatters of whatever that looked like dry blood all over the kitchen. That was the only thing that didn't factor in to the story. So, one night, I didn't know Misty and Clarence were, well, actually, I knew they weren't home. I went in the basement. There's carpet in the back rooms in the basement, not the front room that was flooded. Just there was this room, which was Misty and Clarence's room. This room was like the furnace room. The hidden secret room was behind that. And then there was like this little area that came around and went towards Misty and Clarence, like the back of Misty and Clarence's room. And then right off that little hallway right there was the bathroom. So I'm in there and I'm vacuuming the furnace room. And because I had cats and everything, I don't know, I was super clean back then. I didn't have kids. My house was always clean. You could eat off the floor, it was so clean. So anyways, I was always cleaning. If I wasn't working, I was cleaning. I'm vacuuming. As far as I know, Misty and Clarence aren't home. I didn't even go look in their room or whatever because that's like an invasion of their privacy. I'm probably a good roommate because I never go in my roommate's fucking room for nothing. So anyways, I'm sitting there vacuuming. All of a sudden I hear, "Help me." It was kind of quiet and I'm like, "What?" Turn the vacuum off. I'm like, "What? What'd you say, Misty?" I leave the room. I come out the front room. And I go over to her bedroom door, her doorway area, and there's nobody there. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I walked back around through the furnace room and around the hallway, made sure there was nobody in the bathroom. There was nobody in the bathroom. There was nobody in the secret room. So I'm like, okay, I'm just fucking hearing shit. That's right. So I started vacuuming again. So I'm like, I'm just fucking hearing shit, whatever. I hear a little bit louder. "Help me." I'm like, dude, I fucking heard something that time. I turned the vacuum off. I'm like, "What did you say?" "Help me." I'm like, oh, fuck this shit. Left everything down there, ran upstairs, closed the basement door, and I'm just fucking done, right? And it was a little girl. It was a little girl. Okay. Now, being me, being wiser, knowing more about the paranormal and spirits and such, like, I don't think it was a little girl. I think it was some kind of, like, demon, demonic force, whatever. I don't think it was a little girl. But it's kind of funny that we found the little super ball in the fucking drain in that front room. Misty seen the little blue ball bounce off the floor, hit the wall, and go up into the fucking ceiling. And then I hear this. Fast forward like another year. Me and my ex-husband split up. We got divorced. When I'm moving out of the apartment into my parents' old apartment, which was next door, upstairs, I'm moving stuff out. And I didn't have a job at the time. I wasn't home one day. And my dad said that he was leaving to go somewhere. And he happened to be driving by and he looked over at the apartment building The front door was open, so was the back door. And he could see into the backyard through my apartment. So he said that that's fucking weird. Angel's car is not here. I don't know what's going on. So he turns off his vehicle. He goes and shuts both doors. And he goes on about his way. And I believe my dad, that's the only reason I added this, but my dad's going to come into play a lot more. That's why I'm adding this. So one day as I'm moving out, this is all happening right as I'm moving out. Shit hit the fan as I was moving out. I wouldn't go in the basement. My dad didn't want to go in the basement because anytime you try to go into the basement, you got this feeling that you don't want to be there. Not had that feeling that hard. So anyways, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go into this fucking basement. I'm going to grab the rest of my shit. And then I'd run out. And I'd go take it over next door to the apartment. Upstairs next door. One day, I was moving stuff and I'd asked my dad for some help. And in the process of me moving out, my dad was fixing up the apartment. Like, he was painting. And one day I was standing there talking to him. And I was just like, hey, I got this couch and this. And like, we were just talking about what was left to move out of the apartment. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to be here all day. I'm going to finish painting the master bedroom. I'm going to paint the bathroom. I'm going to fix this door. You know, just random stuff. Because I'm moving out. He needs to fix it so somebody else can move in. Okay. So anyways, we're standing there talking. And he's kind of looking funny. And I'm not really understanding at the time why he was kind of trying to hurry up and get me out of the apartment and why he kind of looked funny. Later that day, he told me, because we're now over at their apartment. Oh, they had moved downstairs next door. So I moved upstairs, they moved downstairs next door, into the building next door. And we're down there talking, and he was like, yeah. He's like, I was really trying to get you out of the apartment. And I'm like, why? He's like, because the whole time I was standing there talking to you, it felt like there was a little kid tugging on my pant leg. And he's like, I kept looking down, there's nothing there. I kind of moved my leg. And I remember seeing him do that stuff, and I was like, this is fucking weird. I didn't think nothing of it, right? I was just trying to get the fuck out of the apartment. The shit hit the fan. He said that after I left, he went into the bedroom to go finish painting, and he was using a chair as like a ladder, and he went to step up on the chair, and when he went to put his foot on the chair moved. He said that it's fucking weird. So he tried to put his foot on the chair again, and it moved away from him again. So he proceeded to bless the whole house. I come from a family of Jehovah's Witnesses, which I find so funny because I'm not that kind of religious. I believe in certain aspects of things, but Jehovah is not one of them. I do believe in holidays. I do believe in, you know, there's some kind of higher force, so on and so forth, but I don't actually choose a religion, but I don't claim to be an atheist because I believe in, like, the energy that we put out into the universe comes back to us. Like, I don't know, I believe a little bit of different things. Not an atheist. I know there's something out there. I've seen stuff. So anyways, my dad blessed the whole house. I never have stepped foot back into that house. My dad said that he blessed it, and then he blessed our whole building, because whatever was in that building, he didn't want to follow us back to our building, which is literally right next door. Makes sense. So I never went back into that apartment. I don't regret leaving that apartment. I'm glad I did. But it's a story of don't ever play with an Ouija board because you don't know what the fuck you're going to get. And you're going to open a door to something that you don't want. So on that note, we are 20 minutes in. I'm going to stop the video here because I don't want to make these too long. I have so many more stories to tell you. But I'm going to end with this one. My origin. And probably one of the freakiest ones I've had. And I don't know. it's just kind of what all started the pathway here. Like, I believe that you should bless your house. Definitely believe that. Anytime that something bad happens, you should bless your house. I follow Wicca, and Wicca's all about, love and light and positive energy, but they tell you about blessing and incantations and stuff like that. I do believe in that. You should bless your house. Even if you don't believe, light some sage, walk around your house, because you don't want no shit there. Okay? Lesson learned the hard way. Now I do. The house that I live in with my boyfriend, I blessed this house so many times, it's not even funny. It's so neutral when you walk into this house. You don't get one kind of energy over the other. It's just very neutral. And it's because I bless the hell out of my house. Because I have lived in a creepy ass house. I don't want nothing to follow me here, especially with the shit that I want to do. So I can't say religiously because I'm not religious. Not really, not one certain religion, but I constantly bless my house with sage. I constantly walk around and just make sure I don't get any kind of energy, like negative or some kind of whatever. My house is very neutral. You walk into my house, you're not going to feel anything that's weird. It's very neutral. It's like walking into, I don't know, a blank slate, so to speak. So I hope you guys enjoyed my little ghost time, story time. And if you want to see more videos like this, which I'm going to do at least one more, because I have one or two more really good stories, but they're long. And they involve my sister. So, if you want to see more videos like this video, if you want to, let me start that over again. Cut. So if you'd like to see more videos like this, please like this video and subscribe. I plan on doing more videos of some kind of this nature. I do have two really good stories I want to do. And then, like I said, I want to go out and start doing my own little investigations and then blessing my house and blessing myself. And I always wear, even though I'm not religious, I always have my cross on and my little mommy thing. And then I keep my little satchel of protection with me everywhere I go because I believe in Wicca. So anyways, I hope you guys like this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching today's video. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more videos like this, please subscribe. What paranormal or crime-related mystery would you like to see next? I hope you all have a great day.